You've seen them on the stage, wearing the sash, representing Zimbabwe on the global stage with so much grace. Today, we dive deeper, we go beyond the glamour and dive into the real stories behind the journey. I am Sakile Zibusiso Dube, former Miss Universe Zimbabwe 2024. Joining me today for a sit-down is...
I am Lashonda Brendan Moyes, Miss Universe Zimbabwe 2025.
And I am Yolanda Chimbanami, Miss International Zimbabwe 2025, Miss International Africa 2025, and Miss International First Runner-Up 2025.
And I am Lisa Sibanda, Miss Cosmos Zimbabwe 2025.
And today we're going to be discussing the highs, the challenges, the unforgettable moments, but most importantly, life after crown. Ladies, it's time to sip the tea. Tell me, would you do it again?
I think in all honesty, I think personally, it's an exciting journey. You have a lot of ups and downs, a lot of highs and lows.
Sure.
And I would, it's fun. I definitely would.
For me personally, I learned a lot throughout the journey about myself, about my country. Would I do it again? I don't think so. I think I'm hoping to nurture the next generation that will take up the crown.
Well, I think for me, it was life-changing because you learn more about yourself than you wouldn't in any other setup in your life. And you also learn about your country because you're studying your country, what your people are like. You're meeting so many people from different parts of the world. And so it's an amazing life-changing experience.
I agree with you, ladies. I feel like for me, that was it. I think I've done my part in the pageantry for Zimbabwe, so I think now it's time to focus on other things. So if you were to share one thing that stood out for you during your journey, what would it be?
Oh, okay, I'll start off. It was filled with a lot of up and downs. Reason being, a lot goes behind just being a Miss International or being Yolanda Chimbanami, because when you go internationally, they don't even call you by your first name, they call you by your country's name because you're representing millions of Zimbabweans out there. So you have to really study and know more about the Zimbabwean culture, about the people, about the history of Zimbabwe. Like, I had a year of literally having history classes, knowing and learning about the tourism industry, about our economics, because when you go out there, you want to represent Zimbabwe as best as you possibly can. So that's really one thing that stood out for me, that, hey, we have greatness in Zimbabwe.
I also just I don't know what Yolanda said. Yeah. I think for me, what stood out the most was actually learning a lot about other countries from all the ladies that we were with. You know, there's so much to learn from other ladies around you. So it's actually eye-opening that, you know what, there's so much we do not know about other countries. So this is actually the moment to share stuff about your country, like put your country in the map, but also learn about other countries and cultures as well.
That's very true.
I think, like you mentioned, like for me, you representing your country on the international stage. But the nice thing, especially with my year, is I had so much help from our Zimbabwean people. There was always in the comments, in the posts, reposts, like I'm on that stage, I'm international, I am there, you know, representing, but you know, in the back of my mind, I have that support of, I've got this whole Zimbabwe of cheerleaders who are
I think that's what pushes you more.
Yes.
That's a great one. I also think that as much as you learn about your country, you also learn about yourself. Not only are you carrying the country on your shoulders, so it's quite a lot, but also you learn because when you're on stage, it's now you not against the world, but then it's you facing the whole world. And that can be quite intimidating sometimes.
Yes.
But after the experience, you have so much global awareness because you meet over 70 something countries and you have so much cultural exchange between the queens, and you learn so much about other people. what you would possibly never learn if you're in your country, in your own space at home.
So true.
So I value that so much because you leave with so much of that global awareness and culture exchange, which is so important to learn as a person.
Yes, I do feel like the lessons are so much great. You learn a lot about yourself, but also you get qualities that you didn't walk in there with. Like you learn to be disciplined. You know, there's so much that goes through that. And sometimes you have self-doubt. But I think for me, I learned that having self-doubt does not mean that I'm incapable. It simply means I care, and that means I want to do better. You know, not only for myself, but for Zimbabwe.
Very true. Very true.
Yes.
It's an eye opener because you know, like you just said, you have moments where even when you sit with the other queens from the different countries, you have those moments where like, oh, but she's prettier than me, or what if she does better than me?
Yes, the comparison sometimes.
And I feel like for me personally, the saddest part was I would do it to myself. Like I'd sit and be like, oh my gosh, look how she's walking.
Do you feel like most women do it? So you're not alone on that one. I think it's quite normal to compare yourselves to other queens, but as we already said, I think what's important is the lessons that you come out with. You become a better version of yourself.
That's very true. I think what's also key about that is authenticity.
Thank you. Yes.
Because you can never be like anyone else. I can't be like Yolanda, I can't be like Lashanda, I can't be like Sakile.
Very true.
Yeah.
So with that, you learn the importance of authenticity, because I feel like when you're on stage or when you're going for interviews or when you're interacting with anyone, everyone almost always has a sixth sense and they can sense that you're not really yourself. And I feel like the people who really do well are people who are just relaxed and they're authentically themselves and they're embracing their culture and who they are, and they're moving along with that originality that makes them so different.
Yes. When you're authentic, you're also your best self. You're more confident when you're authentic because you're not pretending to be something that you're not, and also being different. That's what makes you memorable. When you're different, you're more memorable for those things that makes you different. So actually, confidence comes from authenticity, not perfection.
Very true.
That's true.
Very true.
Yes. Well, ladies,
I think you said confidence comes from what?
from being authentic, not perfection.
That's beautiful.
Yes, ladies, what is one advice you would give someone who wants to walk in your shoes? Or your younger self, like what advice would you give an 18 years old Lashanda Moyes?
I think the advice I would give is, like you said, perfection is not what you see. Perfection is the confidence you show. Like for the person who is going to walk in my shoes, be your best self. I have had amazing queens who have come before me, like yourself. The saddest part is people are going to compare you.
Absolutely.
That is a no-brainer. People are going to compare you. But what sets you apart is who you are. Because Brooke is a different person. Sakile is a different person. I am a different person. We all may hold the same title, but our characters are different, our emotions are different, we deal with things differently. Yes, so my advice to the next queen stepping into my shoes would be the best version of yourself, because no one can do better than you.
And that's on period. You said it right. I think for me personally, I believe authenticity is the best makeup that one can put on. To the 18-year-old self, I would say continue going, because just before Miss International, I almost gave up. Because I've been in this industry for a very long time. I've done Miss World Zimbabwe, I've done Miss Supranational, I've done Miss Intercontinental. So I was at that point where I said, you know what, I've invested so much in this industry. Yes. But that little voice in me, my faith just kept me going. Yes. Sometimes when God places a dream on your hands, like you can't ignore it.
It's there for a reason.
It's there for a reason. So I had that extra voice that keep going. Your time is coming, and it so happened when I was just about to give up. So if not now, then when? Keep going, knock on that door. They're going to say no. You get a lot more no's than yeses, honestly.
So true.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, modeling is an industry where you get judged for your appearance, really. Like, I was bullied before I left Zimbabwe, and the week that I left Zimbabwe, and sadly by my own country people as well. But the most important thing is I knew who I am. Like, I know actually who I am, and I know whose I am, who is G-O-D. So take time to just pray.
Yes.
Like, honestly, prayer was my comfort zone. When I would go on social media and people say, why does she have natural hair on the world stage? Why is she doing A, B, C, D? Deep down, I knew that this is the best makeup that I have. I'm being authentic. I'm being who I am, and I'm showing up as the best version of myself.
Absolutely. Thank you, Yolanda. I just want to add on to something before we move on to my next question for you ladies. I think what's really important is believing in yourself and knowing that you are worthy of that stage.
Exactly.
It does not matter where you come from. Like I always say that your background does not define your potential. Your dreams are valid, so go after them. You are the only person that can change your fate. So if you don't start now, then when?
Exactly.
Queen Lisa, would you like to add something?
I would also like to add that you're equally qualified to be there the same way another person is coming from Asia or America or wherever.
Absolutely.
You're also equally important and your dreams are equally valid.
Sure.
And also you are equally beautiful. Because sometimes as Black women, we sometimes go on stage and we feel a certain way. But we are Black and beautiful and strong, and there's so much diversity, and we bring in that part of diversity, which is very important. So that's what I would want to say, that your dreams are equally valid, and it doesn't matter where you come from.
Thank you.
I really appreciate that.
Yes, absolutely. I think Yolanda is bringing us into our next topic. I want us to discuss how did you deal with online criticism? I know it's a lot. There's a lot of it. It happens a lot. It happens to the best of us. How did you deal with it? And how do you continue to deal with that?
Okay, I'll start. I genuinely don't think I faced a lot of online criticism. Zimbabweans were very supportive of me, but maybe I would say that the important thing is to know who you are. So the important thing is your identity. If you know who you are, if someone else comes along and they try to make you feel a certain way, you're already grounded in who you are. So it doesn't necessarily affect you. You might be affected for a moment, but it doesn't stick with you because already you're grounded in who you are. So identity is very important when you're online. Just know who you are, know your values and what you stand for, and everything else is just noise in the background.
Yes, I do feel like even when you know that it's coming, it still hurts a little bit, you know. You are like almost expecting it to happen, but when it actually does happen, you're like, oh my God. And sometimes we focus so much on the negative part, but when we actually weigh, the positive stuff is way bigger than the negative stuff that we get online. Like, of course, you know, there's always going to be people that are going to criticize your work, criticize what you're doing. And so sometimes it forces you, it pushes you to have self-doubt on yourself. So now it's like a battle between knowing yourself, knowing who you are, and actually believing in yourself, as you were saying, and they're saying these things, is it true? So now it's a fight in your head, but at the end of the day, you have to stand tall and believe in yourself, stand your ground and own it. I think that's the best way that you can go with online criticism.
That's true.
I think for like how I handled it, maybe it's because like what you just said, knowing yourself, but also what Yolanda said, be prayerful. For me, I did get a lot of criticism. I got a lot of pushback, but I know who I am.
Exactly.
And for me, it wasn't about who I am in the world or who I am to the people out there. It was who I am in Christ. So I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I know that I can. So for me, that was and a lot of the criticism, I took it as constructive criticism.
Absolutely.
So you said that I made a mistake here. how would I correct it for next time?
Yes.
I took all those negative comments and all that bad energy, and I'm like,
That's such a
how do I
powerful
use
way.
it to better myself?
That's such a powerful way of dealing with it, actually.
That's a very great
Yes, actually, you take the criticism and actually say, okay, they're saying A, B, C, D. How best can I improve?
Yes.
So I like that.
But to be honest, I applaud you guys for keeping yourselves together.
All of you.
Yeah, honestly, because it's not easy. Like, we get judged every day.
On a daily.
For me personally, if I could, I would write a book about my experience.
Oh, wow.
But I think the most important
Maybe you
thing,
should.
I
Point
Think about it.
girl. But I think for me, the most important thing is knowing your why. Why are you
Why am I
running
on
in
this stage?
Why
Why am
are
I
you on
doing
the
this?
platform?
Yes.
And that has kept me going. Like, I was bullied for going international with short hair because it's not something that the Zimbabwean community
the
is
aesthetic.
used to. It's not the aesthetic. Exactly. But God and I had a conversation. People don't know that you have these conversations behind the scenes.
Yes, you
know?
met this
Where's
decision
it?
prior.
Exactly. And we agreed on rocking short hair.
natural
And then
hair.
I got there, transformed it into an afro, and still people didn't understand.
In the beginning.
In the
always
beginning.
misunderstanding in the beginning.
You know, but I stood on my ground and I said, I am showing people what Zimbabweans are like. I'm being true and authentic to myself.
I love that.
You know, I'm showing up with my hair natural every single day, and I'm taking pride
For
in
what
that.
it's worth, you look amazing with that hair.
Thank you, ladies.
She still does. She still does.
Yeah.
Do you think that if you had gone against your intuition, things would have turned out differently in terms of the instructions, or maybe what you
heart to
felt
heart
was
you
the
had with
right
God?
thing to do at that particular time? Do you feel like things could have turned in a different way?
I don't think so. I believe that when God places something on your hands or in your heart, it comes to pass. Like, I'll tell you, before I went to Miss International, I prayed and fasted for 21 days.
Oh, wow.
And that's something that I never openly speak about.
Oh, wow.
But I took time to actually work on my spirituality. So when I then got to Japan, all the online criticism and the questions, they didn't faze me because I am wonderfully and fearfully made, just like what my queen sister said. So I
Confidently
showed up.
beautiful.
Exactly.
Beautiful inside and
Exactly. So I made sure that every single day before I left my room, I prayed. I anointed myself from the top of my head to the soles of my feet. And I said, God, favor with whoever I'm going to meet today, favor with the judges, favor on the final show. So honestly, I think God is a graceful God. You know, had I even decided to go with a different hairstyle, I think he would still be.
It was already written that it's yours.
It was written in stone.
And they say if it's yours, it's yours. You know, it's funny.
Exactly. So people will criticize, they'll say all those things, but the most important thing is knowing your why. My journey was long.
Awesome. We love to
Yeah.
hear about everyone's stories because all your stories are actually empowering. You know, when a young woman watches this, they will be encouraged to actually take the first step.
Right.
Now, I want us to dive into a lighter note, talk about the outfits. Ladies, I want to know, I really want to know, like, what was your best outfit that you can't even forget about right now? When you think Miss Cosmos, that one outfit, you're like, oh my God, that outfit, I loved it.
Okay, I'll tell you this. So I think it's my blue gown, the one that I wore for prelim. I loved that.
We loved it too, by the way.
It was beautiful.
That
It
was
was different
beautiful.
from what I'm used to, and I really loved it. And I felt different because I never really thought blue would look nice, but then it was very calm and. But I loved that gown. I think for me that was.
I also feel like when you wear an outfit that you love, that you look good in, your confidence spirals. It goes higher, you know. Yes, we could see it. Actually, you were like glowing. You were glowing. You could see it through the, you know.
For me, I would also say my final dress, the golden dress. I tried it on the day of the show.
Oh, wow.
And also, there's always been a myth that says, oh, no golden gown makes it to the Miss International top 5. But funny enough, last year, the queen and the first runner-up were both wearing golden dresses.
So you changed the trajectory.
Changed
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, yours are very hard to follow because I such a conservative person. I always dress modestly, and like for me, walking out.
I think to date, for me, it has to be my national costume. I love.
It's so beautiful.
Oh my God! When I think about my national costume, the first time I saw it, I had goosebumps. First time I put it on, I was like, "Oh my God!" Because when you look at it, you think Zimbabwe, great Zimbabwe.
Yes,
you know the bag, the oh my God! And also when we did our review before the national costume night, when we did our review, everyone went crazy. And when everyone saw it, like we were literally rated top 5 Zimbabwe national costume.
True.
And me walking out on the stage wearing it, I really felt incredible. And I was so proud of not only myself, but also Zimbabwe. I'm like, you know what? Zimbabwe deserves to be on this stage. We have the beauty, we have the strength, we have the intelligence, we deserve to be seen. So I felt amazing, and I was like, now it's time for Zimbabwe. Now they can sing Zimbabwe.
The last country was
Exactly, imagine. So I was the last person. Oh
No,
my
your
God.
national costume is beautiful.
it was.
Stunning. And a confession, my mom is obsessed with your final evening gown.
Oh,
Yeah, she thinks it's the most beautiful gown that Zabisha has ever made.
which one? The red one. Which one is it? The red one.
I had the red one with
red
the,
one.
With the yes.
Ooh, that
That
was
one is
That
beautiful.
one is also beautiful.
Yes,
Stunning.
yes. So before we wrap up, I would like us to play a game. Never have I ever, but make it pageant edition. I'm gonna go first. So, never have I ever slept with makeup.
I think we all
I have.
I think at some point. How was that experience for you, Lisa?
Okay, so I'll tell you that if you have very good makeup, the next day your makeup won't be so bad, so you can continue the day. Let's say you want to shoot the next day, and then you're like, oh my God, this is so beautiful, and then the next day you want to wake up with the same makeup. But if you have bad makeup, then tomorrow you look like a raccoon and you don't.
I also think if it's bad, you wouldn't want to keep it that long.
Ooh, never have I ever. Ooh, what haven't I done? So there's an untold Vaseline hack. I used it. Sorry, Vaseline on your teeth. Used it.
What does it do? I think our viewers want to know, what does Vaseline on your teeth do?
So when you're on stage, if you notice when you smile a lot, your cheeks will jitter or your lip will stick to your teeth.
Yeah.
If you put Vaseline, it doesn't.
Oh.
It's like
I
a
didn't
hole.
know about
It
that.
holds.
Yeah.
It holds.
Okay.
And your teeth look nicer.
Okay. Never have I ever put glue on my body.
Glue.
Yeah.
Oh, I have.
On your clothes? I have. Sometimes you want, your clothes to stick on your body.
Exactly.
There are some certain body parts that you want your clothes to stick on. So glue works.
Especially during the swimsuit round.
Yes.
Yes.
You want
Yeah.
to keep
Everything
it
stays
pegged.
where it's supposed to be.
Exactly. It's a lot of glue and a lot of work that goes behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, never have I ever had a wardrobe malfunction
Oh my goodness.
I think
before the competition.
Even worse.
Okay, let me say 10 minutes before walking on stage. That's a tough one, eh?
for me, it wasn't really necessarily a malfunction. We have a lot of our dresses have corsets. So sometimes when they're putting, the rope into the holes of the corset, someone can miss a spot. So when a spot is missed, you're definitely going to see it. It has happened to me before, and it was a little nightmare. A mini. Now, closing question that I'm going to be asking my incredible queens is, what legacy do you want to leave behind?
That's a good one. Well, for me, I want to say I would want for women and girls in general to not confine themselves to one little box, to say I'm a corporate girl, so I can't follow my dreams to be a pageant queen. Because you can do so many things. You can be a doctor and a musician and all of that. And so I want people to be inspired to do what they feel like they're passionate about, and maybe also something they really need to do.
We've seen you do that.
Thank you so much. For me, my careers are very different, but also the same. Right. Because when you're a lawyer, you're very serious and you're doing proper serious work. But then when you're a beauty pageant queen, it's more glam. So the switch between the two is almost interesting for people, but then it's doable. So that's the legacy that I would want other women to see, that you are able to do it, it's possible.
Absolutely. I really love that. I think for me, the legacy that I want to leave behind is one that is rooted in empowerment. I want people to look at my life story, but I say this because, okay, so I'm an orphan, and there's so much that happens. So I want when people look at me to look at my story and say, if she could do it, I can also do it. Mm-hmm. You have to be empowered though to be able to do that. So I guess I want to leave an inspiring story for other people, for other ladies, upcoming models, and representation is so important. I've seen it happen. I've been in the shoes of that. So I want to inspire the people that are coming behind me, that are coming after me, because I've also learned from the people that have gone before me. But most importantly, I want to leave a legacy that is rooted in empowerment. And I believe that this platform is so transformative. So I want other people to look at it and think, you know what, if she could do it with a story like that, I can also do it.
Wow. On that empowerment note, like Lisa said, I've been on this road for more than 15 years, and I didn't wake up and be on the greatest stage in the world. It took setbacks, it took, no's and people who knock you down. But I'm a nurse by profession. I also have a degree in marketing and finance. But above all that, I wear my crown and my sash, and I'm an ambassador for Zimbabwe.
At the end of the day.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter where you're coming from. It doesn't matter what kind of background or what people say. The why matters.
Right? Yes.
If I've had so many no's, but I wanted to be number one. Mm-hmm. So no matter how many shortcomings I had, I always made sure I got up, I dust myself off, you learn from your mistakes. So that's the legacy I want to leave behind. I want people to look at me and say, it doesn't matter, you knock down, you can get up and you can do it. You can achieve what you put your heart to.
Yes. Right. Wow, ladies. So profound.
And Saki, thank you for sharing that vulnerable moment. I think that's something that people don't really get to see and experience.
Yes, it's all glam, like the photos, and people forget that there's a real person behind that. Exactly.
So
yes.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, for me personally, it's just letting that young girl and that young boy know that you can still be a Christian and still pursue whatever industry you want to be in. I'm in a very controversial industry. I mean, we all are in a very controversial industry. But Jesus is cool once you have him and you embrace him.
Yes. There are no limitations with Jesus.
Exactly. I love that. There are no limitations with Jesus. And secondly is to never give up. I know you've probably had this 1,000 times, but trust me, I have failed a lot of times. I've contested a lot of pageants, but never ever give up. Just keep your head high and trust me, you will get there. I mean, now we made history for Zimbabwe because I didn't give up. So imagine, had I given up before Miss International, we wouldn't have made history for Zimbabwe.
Very true. Very true.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Beyond the Crown. Thank you for watching. Good night.